A question for the ages. So there I was, dangling from a cliff in a tent, 1,000 feet in the air. And the first thought that popped into my head was, why? Seriously, why? Oh right, mine, I could be at home on my couch watching TV, maybe ordering a pizza. But no, I chose to sleep in a glorified shopping bag strapped to a rock. This is what happens when your sense of adventure gets too adventurous. You know that feeling on a roller coaster, clicking up, up, up? This was like that, but the ride never ends. Suddenly you appreciate the simple things in life, like floors. Solid, unmoving floors. Next time I'm picking the pizza. The journey to my 5-star rock face resort began, as most terrible ideas do, with a lot of walking, uphill. They called it a hike. I called it a forced march with scenery. Our guide Chip looked like he was born on a mountain. He was bounding up the trail, probably whistling. Meanwhile, I was 10 feet behind, breathing like I'd just run 3 marathons, carrying a backpack full of bricks and regret. Every step was a negotiation with my legs. Just one more, I'd plead. Chip kept pointing out eagles. I just wanted to see a chair, or an escalator. The setup process? Ropes, carabiners, and instructions that sounded like a foreign language. Just clip the double-action locking binder to your belay loop and wait the static line. Sure, Chip. I was pretty sure I was one wrong click away from becoming a human pendulum. Trust the equipment, they said. Easy for them to say. I inspected every clip like a detective on a high-stakes case. Chip found this hilarious. It'll hold a truck, man. I'm not a truck, Chip. I'm a comedian with a healthy fear of gravity. Finally, after what felt like years, we reached the launch point. Getting into the portalage, the cliff tent, is an art form, like getting into a sleeping bag while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. You have to swing your legs over, wriggle in, and try not to look down, all while remembering the knots and clips keeping you from becoming a news headline. It was the most ungraceful, clumsy, and terrifying thing I've ever done, and this was just the beginning. I missed escalators, I missed chairs, I missed sanity. Let's talk about the portalage. It's basically a cot with a tent hanging from the cliff by a single anchor point. For humans who like stability, it's less than ideal. Every time I shifted, the whole thing groaned and tilted, like being on a tiny, terrifying boat in the sky. The tent fabric was so thin you could see the stars. Sounds romantic, right? Wrong. The wind shook the tent like a dog with a chew toy. I was the chew toy. They tell you it's comfortable. They lie. It's a narrow cot. Want to roll over? Plan it like a bank heist. And the sounds, creaking straps, pinging metal, pebbles skittering below. I didn't sleep. I just performed a 12-hour safety inspection on myself. Next time I'm booking a hammock, on the ground, or just a regular bed. I will admit one thing. The view was spectacular. When the sun set, the sky exploded into colors I didn't know existed. The valley below was covered in mist and the stars, oh, the stars. For a few minutes I almost forgot I was hanging by a thread. Almost. Then I'd accidentally kick my water bottle and watch it fall. And fall. And fall. That could be me, I thought. Every beautiful moment was tinged with a little bit of what if. What if a bird flies into the tent? What if it rains? What if I sneeze really hard? The exposure is something you can't prepare for. You are out there at the mercy of the elements. No running inside if the weather turns. No front desk to call about the wind. You are part of the landscape, for better or worse. I felt incredibly small, like a speck on a massive wall of rock. Humbling and terrifying, terrifyingly humbling. Everything is a challenge, eating, getting changed, just existing. All your gear needs a safety line. Your phone, your snacks, everything. It's like being an astronaut, but with more spiders and less tang. I spent half the night checking knots and clips, making sure everything was secure. It wasn't restful sleep, it was a 12-hour safety inspection. It's not relaxing, it's work. The worst job I've ever had. But the view? Unbeatable. Still, I'd trade it for a window and a sturdy floor, or a balcony, with a railing, and a chair, definitely a chair. You think weird things when you're alone in the dark, 1,000 feet up. At 2 a.m., I wondered what would happen if a bat flew in. Would we become friends? I'd name him Bruce. Then I replayed every cliff-hanging movie scene I'd ever seen. Note to self, next time watch a rom-com. Then came the existential questions. What is the meaning of life? Is this portalage really rated for 600 pounds? Or is that just a suggestion? I pondered my life choices. Was this really the pinnacle? Hanging off a rock in the middle of nowhere? My brain became a search engine for every embarrassing moment of my life. a highlight reel of anxiety. I became obsessed with tiny details. I watched a spider build a web in the corner of the tent. I named him Chip Jr. We formed a bond. I hoped he'd be okay. And of course you think about falling. You can't not think about it. It's like that song you hate, stuck in your head. I'd close my eyes and see myself tumbling through the air. It wasn't scary, exactly, more surreal. I had to keep reminding myself, you are safe, the ropes are strong, Chip knows what he's doing. I must have repeated that mantra 1,000 times. It was either that or start singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall. Nobody wanted that. Not even Chip Jr., especially not me. Okay, let's address the question everyone's thinking, the bathroom situation. On the ground, you wander off behind a tree. On a cliff, things get complicated. There are no trees. There is only down. And you really don't want to contribute to the scenery. So what do? Enter the adventure bottle. You have to use it, inside your tiny tent while trying not to spill, or fall out. It requires coordination and bravery I do not possess. It is, without a doubt, the most awkward experience of my life. For other business, there's a special bag system. I'll spare you the details. It makes using a porta potty at a music festival feel like a luxury spa. You have to be a contortionist. You have to have nerves of steel. And zero shame. I decided to just hold it. I was convinced my body could survive 12 hours. This is the part they don't put in the brochures. They show you sunsets, not logistical nightmares. It really puts things in perspective. You realize how much we take for granted, like toilets. Toilets are amazing, a triumph of modern engineering. I will never look at a toilet the same way again. I will appreciate every flush. I will write poems about indoor plumbing. This trip gave me a newfound respect for civilization, and for chairs, and for walls, and for not having to aim in a moving tent. Next time, I'm camping near a bathroom, or just staying home, with a toilet and a lock on the door. Before I left, I told my friends and family what I was planning. Their reactions were mixed. My mom asked if my life insurance was paid up. My dad said, "Don't drop your phone." My friends were no better. Questlove just shook his head. Higgins tried to be supportive but couldn't stop laughing. They all thought I'd lost it. They suggested the beach, Paris, or just staying home with pizza. I tried to explain. It's about pushing your limits, facing your fears. They just stared at me. My limit is the all-you-can-eat buffet, one said. My biggest fear is they'll run out of shrimp. Honestly, he had a point. Why trade a comfortable bed for a swaying cot and a bag of trail mix? It's an emotional decision, a slightly unhinged one. Their skepticism made me more determined. I had to come back with a story so ridiculous it would be worth it. The reality? I'd probably return sleep-deprived and traumatized, vowing never to leave my apartment again, but hey, at least it's a story, and that's what comedians live for, right? Even if we have to risk our lives for it. This whole experience got me thinking about America. We have a proud history of doing things just because we can. Why build a regular bridge when you can build the Golden Gate? Why sleep in a bed when you can sleep on a cliff? It's the why not philosophy. America is built for this. We have wild, beautiful national parks, giant adventure playgrounds for adults. The landscape dares you to do something bold. There's a certain freedom in it. Out there are no rules, no deadlines, no emails. It's just you, the rock, and the sky. A way to disconnect from the noise and connect with something real. It strips away the nonsense and forces you to focus on the present moment, mostly because if you don't, you might not have a future moment. It's not just about adrenaline, it's about seeing what you're made of. Or in my case, discovering my comfort zone is exactly where I thought, on a couch, with a remote. But for some, these wild adventures are a way to test themselves. It's a reminder we're capable of more than we think, even if that more is just surviving a night in a very silly tent. As the sun rose, a sense of relief washed over me. I had survived. The descent was easier, powered by a desperate desire for solid ground. When my feet touched the trail, I nearly kissed the dirt. So, would I do it again? Let me weigh the pros and cons. Pro, the view was incredible. Con, everything else. Pro, I have a great story. Con, I now have a mild fear of heights and nylon. Pro, I faced my fears. Con, my fears won. Final verdict, unforgettable, I will never forget it. Mostly because my therapist won't let me. Would I do it again? Absolutely not. I've ticked that box. I've earned that merit badge in questionable life choices. From now on, my idea of adventure is trying a new cheese, or watching a movie with subtitles. My advice? If you're thinking about sleeping on a cliff, look at the pictures. The pictures are amazing. They capture the beauty, not the terror. Frame a picture, put it on your wall, then book a nice hotel room with a balcony. You'll get a great view, a comfortable bed, a working toilet, and room service. And after a night dangling in the abyss, a club sandwich delivered to your door feels more thrilling than any sunset in the world.